100 to go, Norwich by 2. London's Image starts to put in her runner. She's coming out after Norwich. Norwich in front, London's Image. Storyville roped them in. London's Image hits the front, roped them in, dives, picks them up, roped them in. Roped them in, gathered them up, and has won from London's Image. Super Smick.
He certainly did. That was an impressive performance, an impressive return from Rope Them In. Counted plenty of trouble in that Crawford Stakes on the weekend. He and Tudor McGrady overcame it all and tasted success for the first time, of course, since the Bluff Knoll back in March. And trainer of Rope Them In, Steve Wolfe, joins us now on the program. Good afternoon, Wolfie. Thanks for joining us.
How are you, boys? Yeah, no worries at all.
Going well, mate. Can I ask you, what was the overriding emotion when Rope Them In got his head down on the line late? Was it relief, excitement, joy? What were you feeling?
Oh, we always get excited. Once you lose the thrill of winning, like people say, it doesn't matter whether you win or not. But football, cricket, any sport, and this is a sport, there's no substitute for winning. We've got to accept defeat, but we don't enjoy it. I thought the 150 was going to win. He was coming pretty quick, so it was just great.
And he beat a great field too. I mean, London's Image, Super Smink was the favourite. That only adds to the joy, I'm sure, when you beat such a quality field with Rope Them In, Steve.
Yeah, that was good. We gave Super Smink 3 kilos. And, whilst they were all talking about how she got home, I'm sure that his sectionals would have been, his last 200 was probably quicker than hers. And I think she had a chance, but, she's a good mare. And the other one obviously has come back very well, London's Image. It's a great little filly. So, but no, he got the job done, and we were very, very happy with him.
You said you were confident at the 150. You must have been on a bit of a roller coaster ride of emotions, Wolfie. I saw your post race. I think you might have let an expletive or two go after the start. You said he missed the start, got into a bit of trouble at the top of the straight, and then he really did accelerate underneath of runners to come through the guts of the field late and win. But it must have been a bit of a roller coaster ride watching that.
Yeah, it was a bit upsetting early. I thought, oh Jesus, this is buggered, and but anyway, he's got an exceptional turn of foot. I think they said he ran 10.8 for his last 200, which, so you've got to break virtually to beat him. They'd have had to break 10 seconds to win to beat him. So if we can keep him in that order, I'm sure that he'll be very competitive in anything from here on in.
Wolfie, he's been a good horse for a few seasons now. You've spoken about that disappointment of last campaign. Was there any concerns that he wouldn't get back to his absolute best from your point of view, Wolfie, or were you 100% confident in the fact that you knew what went wrong last campaign, and if you gave him a good break, he'd be cherry ripe for the spring/summer?
Yeah, well, I think his first trial showed us he was back. His work's been pretty good. We looked after him in his first trial. He ran 5th, I think. Young Luke rode him. I got Sean to ride Brave Spirit in that trial, and I said, whatever you do, don't knock him around. And then his next trial, whilst the time wasn't that quick, I said to Sean, make sure he does a bit of work today, put the blinkers back on, and we were pretty confident going into it from the barrier and everything that given the right run, he'd be very hard to beat. He was. I think the pressure of the last spring just told on him in the autumn. Like when I trialled him before the Bluff Knoll, even though he didn't win the trial, he won the Bluff Knoll, but he should have won that trial by 5 or 6 lengths, and he never won it. So I think that he showed us then that he wasn't quite his best, but, being the supreme optimist, I always sort of hoped that he would get back there. We thought he would, but he was never quite there if I'd have told myself the truth, But I was pretty confident he'd come back this time.
It's interesting hearing you go through those sort of thoughts. Did you get close at any stage last preparation to pulling the pin? Were you, I guess, did you know right the way through, this is not going the way I wanted? Or were you, I guess, in the moment confident that you could turn it around and get him right for a quokka?
Well, I just knew that he was sound enough, but he just wasn't there. He was, I think, as I said, the pressure of the spring just got to him, a couple of big runs, and then he came back, and then we were in a bit of a hurry probably to try and win the Bluff Knoll, and whilst, he just never got there, and you sort of think, well, you can't throw this away because unfortunately in WA there's not many opportunities at them big races.
Yeah.
And unless you go over east, you've got to have a crack at whatever comes around if possible. But I suppose that's why Bob Peters has been so successful, because he'll just avoid all plans and go to the paddock, and we probably do that a lot more than we used to. But I was probably sometimes you try too hard, even at my age. You try too hard to please the owners and please the public, and it doesn't always work. And at the finish up, you get it where it hurts. So But, I've just sort of always led with my chin all my life, and I'll probably continue to do it till I finish the game,
Well, a lot of people were pleased by Rope Them In's performance on the weekend in the Crawford Stakes. Nominated for the Railway, along with Curramundi and Brave Spirit. Is that next for him, or do you push on towards, say, a Winterbottom or even the Gold Rush, which is a bit later in the carnival?
Yeah, I think he may have one run before the Winterbottom. I think I'm leaning towards the Winterbottom at this stage. Just that, because he's got that explosive turn of foot. And I have no doubt that he probably should have run second in the Winterbottom last year with a clear run. And I think that he's as good or a bit better than that this year. And there's a couple of them that are a bit older. And I know there's Joker's Grin there. But, they've only got to have a bit of bad luck and give it a bit of good luck. And the whole game changes, I think he could keep him busy. And so at this stage, and then you've got a couple of weeks to the Gold Rush. So it's probably, originally I thought the Railway might have been a better setup because he might have got in with less weight, not weight for age. But, after Saturday, I've sort of thought, his sharpness may keep him in the Winterbottom, I would think, and then go to the Gold Rush.
You speak of the fact there's not a heck of a lot of, target races for sprinters here in WA, the Quokka and the Winterbottom, the clear top two. It's a long way ahead, but would you entertain an East Coast preparation with Rope Them In 2026?
Yeah, we probably would, I've only ever took Red Can over. I've sent Mr. Utopia over, and he was in good order when I sent him. And the previous year I sent Red Can over, and but when I took him myself, things didn't quite pan out the way we wanted to. And we hit a couple of very heavy wet tracks, and that was it. But I'd love to take one there at some stage, but it's not the pinnacle for me. But it'd be nice to take him there for a Newmarket or something if we got through the autumn, got through the spring all right, and then I was confident before we went. You wouldn't want to go and just half think you were going to win it. But no, that wouldn't be beyond him a Newmarket. I wouldn't think at a later date.
Exciting to see a horse like Rope Them In over there, over east. What about your other runners on the weekend? Odinaka. We were talking about this earlier. I had 2 bets on your horses on the weekend. Back Rope Them In, massive unders. Myself and JL got 420 and 460. Got it to 650, would you believe, Wolfe, in the end? But he got the job done. And Odinaka as well, but it's fair to say that Galloper probably didn't have the race pan out to suit and wasn't much chance from that position turning for home.
No, he was one that, different sort of horse, different class. He had no luck at all. And Sean said he went well, but it wasn't his day, so... I was sort of thinking to turn him out, but he'll probably may step up to 1,800 next Saturday.
What did you make of Brave Spirit's run, Wolfie?
Probably ridden a bit close and, a bit disappointing. I think the track was a bit hard for him, so I didn't put any water on it. But he's been a handy horse. Probably had a few chinks in his armour, but hopefully we can win another 1 or 2 with him for Craig. That's what we would hope. But he's not hopeless, but he was sort of the equal of Rope Them In, but he hasn't come on like the other horse.
Well, if you're going to ask, what do you do with a horse like Testy Pharoah? He was an impressive winner last week at Ascot. He's got under the guard of punters at 2 career starts. He's unbeaten both times at big odds, as he said. Is he a horse that can progress and make his presence felt on Saturday?
I'm sure he will. He's in what's on the Belgravia this Saturday. Maybe a bit short from his best once he gets up in that grade. I was tossed up whether to start him or not, and then he'll go in the Fair Easter and the Guineas, all things being equal. Had a bit of interest from the East this morning for him, but I don't think we'll be selling him. But no, I think he's a real horse. Hopefully he's the next Rope Them In. He's just a nice young horse on the way through, so hopefully he can go well on Saturday.
Curramundi, listed for a race coming up in the not-too-distant future, Northern Cup, coming up just this weekend, this Sunday. How's Curramundi been tracking?
Yeah, he's good. He ran third in the Kalgoorlie Cup. Look, he's probably a mile short of his best, but he's sharpened up since he's been back at home. And I think he ran second in the race last year, and he probably should have won it with a bit of luck. But so hopefully we've got him on the right track. And the barrier gods have been very kind to me over the weekend. I think we've got 3 1s and a 4, 2 1s, a 2 and a 4. But I hope they're not giving them all to me before the big race. That's when you do need them.
Yes, very true.
So it should be an interesting weekend for us, hopefully.
Do you set Curramundi for the Railway Stakes? I mean, he's nominated. Is that his next race after the Northern Cup?
He may go in it, but it just depends on the Northern Cup. But more likely the Perth Cup, I think.
Okay.
You know, which he ran in last year. Probably should have run third or fourth in that. But, you know, if the race has got to pan out to suit him, that'd be his goal. I think, you know, they're probably too sharp for him in the railway.
What about the old champ, the 9-year-old Red Cam man? He's won over $1.5 million. He was super. He really was super in the Golden Saddle, beaten, was it about 2 lengths in the end by a magnificent Andy. He's nom for a Winterbottom. Do you go to the well again, or how do you plan out his next few weeks and months?
No, actually, I've decided to retire him. Unfortunately, we didn't have any grass down here last Tuesday, and he had finished up having to work on sand, and he pulled up a little bit, not as good as I would like him to. So I've just said he's been too good of a horse. You know, I was very confident we had him back, even after Cal. He came back here and he was very well and very sound, but a little bit of a miss happened. So whilst he's still in good order, it's not worth the risk with him. He can earn his retirement and he's gone to a good home. So sad day for me because he's been a beauty, and you know they're hard to find them horses, but you know they do still earn their retirement at some stage.
It must be hard to lose a horse like that. He was so good, but he's also one that's been part of the furniture at your stable for such a long time. You have so many horses go in and out of your stables because you're a big stable, Wolfie, but you know, when you have those horses that are just mainstays for many seasons racing at top level, when they go, it must be, I guess, a big moment and I guess tough to take.
Oh, well, it is always. It's a sad thing. It's like champion footballers, you know. He was never quite top level, but he ran Elite Street to the nose a couple of times, and he was clearly the best sprinter in the state at the time. And he was just a yard short of a real good horse, you know. But no, it's sad, but but you can be thankful that you've got a hold of a horse like that on the way through, you know. And we just got so much fun out of him. Even when he got beat, he knew he was trying his heart out. So, you know, people don't quite understand how everyone gets attached to these horses. You know, staff, owners, myself. You know, I'm pretty hard taskmaster on some of them, but horses like him, you know, you just always know that you're getting the best out of them and that they're going to give you the best, and so you try and look after them the best you can, and then you do whatever. So hopefully he enjoys his retirement.
Would he be the best horse you've trained, Wolfie? You've had some good ones. Obviously, Watch Me Dance, Rope Them In, right up there. Mapaholic back in the day. You've had some very good horses. There's others as well. Where does he rank?
Well, that's the same thing. I relate him to footballers and cricketers. You can't really compare them. Like you would say that he probably nearly would be, but Mapaholic was very good. Mr. Utopia went to Melbourne and won a couple. King Brian beat Rogan Josh the year before in the Bunbury Cup and the Pinjarra Cup. The year before he won the Melbourne Cup. You know, Special Jester was a great horse, but there's been so many of them that have been at that level, but I suppose he was probably just about the best we had, but I think Rope Them In might even surpass him, you know, before we're through.
Wolfie, you mentioned you like to compare them to footballers and cricketers. You've had a bit to do with Wayne Clark, who was just on the show with us, and he's my colleague every morning on another breakfast radio show. Jellybean Jones is a horse you've trained over recent times, and he said a November potential return for Jellybean Jones, but there's perhaps a little bit more interest in the sibling, Anaconda Jones. Any hope for those two?
Yeah, I think Jellybean will be all right. I reckon he'll get to town and win a midweek at least. It's been a pleasure to meet Clarkie, because, you know, those sort of blokes, you know, when you're a sports follower, you think, oh, you know, how lucky they are and how good they are. But when you meet some of them, they're just no different to you or I. And we've had an enjoyable lunch or two over a cold one. So it's been a pleasure. But no, he's in a couple of nice horses, and as I said, it's been a new friendship with him and myself, and it's been very enjoyable. We have a bit of humour. So hopefully we can do the right thing and win a couple of races for him. I
know he's keen. He hasn't been to all of Jellybean Jones' races because they're out at some of the regional tracks, but he is a big fan of it, and he's greatly enjoyed working with you. I know that for a fact, Wolfie. You love your Dockers. They've come off a year where they've played finals footy. Have you been happy with their trade period? Are you still a frustrated Dockers man, or what do you take out of the end of this season?
Still a bit frustrated, like everyone. I think there's still a few things to be answered. I think the young McVie could be all right. I felt they probably could have done with the one good big back man. And really, whilst our midfield looks good, and if Youngie stands up, that's good. I still think we need a real, this day and age, you need a big pinch hitter in there, I think, you know. That's probably the secret that's lacking, you know, the type of Bozzapelli or Pfeiffer, you know, unfortunately he's gone. We need someone to replace him. I don't know what happened to Will Brody. I thought he might have been the bloke, but they didn't seem to want to give him a go. And I still have my reservations up forward. We didn't get quite enough done. There's a couple of them up there that are a bit on the soft side. So hopefully they can stiffen that area up. And I think Luke Ryan and the captain need another good big bloke back. Luke's a great player, and so is Pearce. Pearce a bit injury prone, and Luke's probably a little bit on the small side to buckle with them real big forwards. So I think we could have nearly pinched that Steve May for a season. Wouldn't have hurt. Someone like that would have been handy.
I'm surprised.
I think the Eagles, I keep an eye on them. I think they've recruited pretty well across the middle of the field, and I think you'll see a fair improvement with them.
Can only get better, Steve, from a one-win season. As a West Coast fan sitting here chatting to you, can only get better from where they've been.
No, they haven't done too bad, though. They've got a couple of handy footballers in there, and they've got a couple of good kids there that just need a bit of support. And I think they'll be a 5 or 6 win team this year.
Let's hope so, mate. Hopefully a few of those concerns can certainly be worked through. Really do appreciate your time, Wolfie. Well done again on the weekend with Rope Them In.
Thanks, boys.